You are listening to WPHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk radio.
Reaching all the way back to 1948, Fate magazine has brought you reports of the strange and unknown, all of them true. Fate Radio is carrying on that tradition. Here is your host of Fate Radio, Kat Hobson.
Hello there. Welcome to Fate Radio. I am Kat Hobson, your host, and I have got a fantastic show for you tonight. I'm so excited to be welcoming my guests, and we will get right to that. I do want to begin our show, though, by saying that our nation is still in prayer for California. I know that there's so many what ifs and where are theys and oh please gods, and we all join with you in that. But we're here for you. As much as we can do for you, we are right now. So please just know that you're not alone. People do care so much for you, and we've got you. We're doing all we can. And that being said, I do want to introduce you to my guest tonight. Butch Witkowski is someone that I have learned so much from over the past few years. He is the founder and director of the UFO Resource Center of Pennsylvania. He is also the editor of JAAR, which is the Journal of Abnormal Research. He's a member of the Institute of Frontier Science. He's a member of the Academie of Science, Ufology. My apologies, Butch. And he is a consultant with the Paranexus Group, which is just fantastic information all around. He was a MUFON chief investigator, Star Team investigator, as well as his state section director, and he's a former member of law enforcement, which makes him a hero in my book without all the other stuff. So, Butch Witkowski, welcome to Fate Radio. Thank you for being here. You know, we were talking about, previous shows that we've done before we started, and it does get a little funky sometimes, doesn't it? And it's so much fun because when I posted in the event that I have filled notebooks during our conversations, that's really not an exaggeration. Because when I started talking with you, I was not very well educated in the things that you do. And I think I spent most of our first conversation about cryptids going, oh my God, really? Are you kidding me? So, thanks to you and thanks to my research, which, you in part helped guide, I'm a little bit more comfortable and knowledgeable about these events. And I have a friend in northern Wisconsin who is developing an interest and studies in this. He is brilliant. Her name is Kimmy. I don't know what's wrong with my tongue tonight, but it was interesting because she sends me pictures of things that she's finding, and I'm like, oh, I need to send this to Butch. I wonder if she'd mind if I do that. So since she's just started doing this, you really are my go-to person. So you're going to be getting a lot of stuff now.
reports now where 2, 3, and 4 are seen at the same time. And this stuff is coming in from all over the country. I mean, it's just not here in Pennsylvania. It's like paranormal world is going crazy. The UFO stuff is just coming in hand over fist. Strange creatures in the woods, outside the woods. The bipedal canine stuff is picking up again. There's always a lull with that for some reason, where we'll get hammered with, maybe 3 or 4 reports, and then we won't hear anything or, receive anything for a couple, 3, 4 months. And then just like that, again. Now, we always thought, to our detriment, that we would get more reports during the hunting season. Well, hunting season has started in many areas, not only in Pennsylvania, but around the country, and nothing. Before hunting season opened up, yeah, and we're sure, and we're going to track it this time, we're sure that after hunting season we're going to get more. But we're getting creatures that are, well, some are Bigfoot reports, where they're seeing bright flashes of light before they see the creature or what they believe to be a Bigfoot. And
I've been hearing that here.
Yeah, that's really only popped up in the last 2 or 3 years, where there have been really super bright flashes of light either before the sighting or right after the sighting. And we haven't figured that out yet. Now, of course, right away you get the people that have an answer for that, and they're saying, well, it's interdimensional. They're coming in and out. Well, okay, that's possible. Keeping an open mind, yeah, that's a possibility. But how do you explain other ones that are seen walking in the woods with a bright white aura around them, surrounding the outline of their torso? No bright flashes, but we have one bipedal report where 2 gentlemen witnessed a bipedal that was actually chewing on a roadkill, and when the car got closer, it stood up and it had a silver aura around the whole creature. And as they went past, it kind of went away. At
Could
first,
it have been their headlights?
Well, he thought maybe it would have been his high beams, but he said he wasn't close enough for that to happen. His beams, when he first saw it, this all took place, pretty early in the morning, so he could see the outline of the creature and the facial features. But that's when he got, closer, that he noticed what he thought was a white outline. But then as he got closer, he said it was like an aura around the creature. But as they turned to go around it, they got in the other lane of traffic to go around this thing because it was standing right on the edge of the roadway. That aura disappeared. It just wasn't there. So, yeah, I guess it could have been outlined with headlights, but why only the creature? Nothing else was outlined in headlights. Now, that could have been wet fur, maybe. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of things you could come up with that, but it's just these really weird things are happening. And it's not just happening here in PA. I mean, it's happening everywhere. Paranormal groups reporting camera equipment not just going dead, but getting fried,
Yes.
junk. We're working on a report now where a small paranormal group down in West Virginia was doing a house, abandoned home, brand spanking new Canon camera, very expensive. Went inside, it worked for about 25 minutes, and then it started getting warm, so they took the battery out and stopped using it, took it to the camera shop where they bought it, and the guy said, this thing is junk. And he said, it's not the battery's fine. He said, I put it in another camera, it works great. He said, so they sent it back to the factory. The factory said, there's nothing wrong with the camera, but it's junk. It doesn't work. It doesn't function. It doesn't do anything.
Oh my gosh.
So they gave him another camera, right? And they go back to the same spot. Different time of day. I think they were pretty much around 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night when they went the first time. Second time they went in, it was like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, a team of 4, and they set all their stuff up, their EVP and everything else, and they put the camera on a tripod and facing where they wanted it to face, down hallway. And the only thing that was not the way the camera came in the box was they had put infrared lens on it. And it worked for about 10 minutes, and it started smoking.
Oh, my gosh.
Now, Canon is not going to give them another camera because now Canon thinks that they did something to the camera, so they're out the money and the camera. But if it wouldn't have been that they had another camera behind that one, which was photographing kind of not an intersection to a hallway, but to a like a foyer area, and that caught the camera starting to smoke. And there was nobody around that camera. Nobody was near that camera. But the GoPro that they had set up watching the foyer caught the action of what was happening to the camera. And all you see is like 3 or 4 little sparks at the lens. Now, there's nothing in the lens. There's nothing in a lens that would cause anything to spark.
Yes.
So then they saw smoke coming out the where the battery connects, and that's they got it out of there, and it's junk. But now I've heard of batteries going dead. I have
that happen often.
Film not developing properly, digital cameras not functioning properly with zoom or on off, whatever. But that's crazy. I mean, you're talking, we're talking about a $1,500 camera here without the lens. Excuse me. And for that to happen twice in the same house, there's got to be something to that. I'm not very knowledgeable on the paranormal end. I've been on investigations with people that know what they're doing only because I went along as a bona fide dumb butt. And but that's the only way you learn. I don't think
that term fits you all that many times in your life there, Butch.
But Kat, that's the only way you learn. That's like
it is.
People, that's when people say, well, how do I do a sky watch? Try looking up.
That's right.
But I did it that way to learn from people that have been doing it a long time. So that way I was getting the straight dope right off the get-go. I saw the empathy they were showing the people that, had the problem, how they went through the house, what equipment they were using, how they set up, what they did. And it is what it is. And but I've heard of the battery deal. I've heard of, different like EMF detectors malfunctioning, all kind of little stuff. Flashlights that wouldn't work on or off. They were junk, but they were brand new. Walkie-talkies that didn't communicate. I mean, I've seen and heard all those stories, but this one is just bizarre.
That is bizarre, especially for a high-end camera like that, because they're actually made to withstand extremes.
Why would it spark at the lens? That's the part. I mean, I've got a lot of cameras. I'm basically a Nikon guy, but two of my big videos are Canon. And I mean, if that happened to one of those, I'd have a heart attack. Because you're looking at a $7,000 camera without the lens. And
the lenses have motors, though. There are lens motors. So
I have no idea why, and this is only in the last. We were just talking about a couple of us just talking about this the other day. Why just in the last 8 to 10 months, all this really weird stuff is happening. Like not only the camera thing, but the multi craft in the sky that were triangles, fireballs that seem to go streaking across the sky and stop. That's not
when they stop. I've seen them stop. Because I'm a hammock sitter. I lay in my hammock and I watch the meteor showers, and I lay in my hammock and ponder, Greek philosophy. Sometimes I just sit, right? I mean, if I've